Redheads make up less than 2% of the world's population. For most of history, that rarity wasn't cute. It was suspicious. If you were born with red hair in medieval Europe, congratulations. You were now a walking omen. Possibly a witch, possibly a demon, possibly just unlucky. Nobody was totally sure, and honestly, nobody wanted to find out. A lot of this starts with religious art. In medieval and Renaissance paintings, Judas Iscariot, you know, the guy who betrayed Jesus, was very often painted with red hair. Nobody knows why artists picked red for the ultimate traitor. Best guess, red was already associated with fire, blood, and general something's wrong here energy. So painters slapped it on the villain, and Judas became the medieval equivalent of a movie poster warning label. The problem is, people saw those paintings in church every week, repeatedly, for centuries. And eventually, the message sank in. Red hair equals betrayal, equals evil, equals do not trust this person with your goats. Fast forward to the witch trials, and things got significantly worse for redheads. Witch hunting manuals, actual official documents used to identify witches, listed physical traits to watch for. Red hair shows up as a suspicious marker in several of them, often alongside green eyes, freckles, and pale skin. Basically, if you looked like you belonged on a modern-day Pinterest board of autumn aesthetic, you looked like a witch in 1580. The logic, if you can call it that, was that red hair was a sign the person had too much fiery temperament, too passionate, too hot-blooded, too likely to be sleeping with the devil on weekends. Freckles were sometimes explained away as the devil's fingerprints, literally left on the skin during recruitment. So, a red-headed, freckled woman in the wrong village at the wrong time wasn't just unlucky. She was pre-accused. This wasn't only a witch trial thing either. Long before any of that, ancient Greeks and Romans already had opinions about redheads, and those opinions were not great. Some ancient writers linked red hair to bad temper, wildness, or barbarian ancestry. Basically, not one of us, and probably feral. Roman authors occasionally described red-haired peoples from the northern edges of the empire as more aggressive or less civilized, which conveniently justified viewing them as outsiders. So the redhead reputation had a multi-thousand-year head start before witch hunters ever got involved. And if witches and barbarians weren't enough, some parts of Eastern Europe also linked red hair to vampires. In certain Slavic folk traditions, redheads were considered more likely to become vampires after death. Some burial customs even involved extra precautions for red-haired corpses, just in case they got any ideas about getting back up. At this point, being born with red hair in the wrong region, wrong century, meant you were suspected of treachery, sorcery, savagery, and now, potentially, undeath. A genuinely impressive resume of accusations for a trait caused by a single gene variant. Strip away the folklore, and the real explanation is almost insultingly simple. Red hair is rare, and humans have always been deeply uncomfortable with things that stand out. Rare traits get noticed, noticed traits get explained, and in eras without genetics, without a concept of recessive alleles, explained usually meant wrapping it in superstition, religion, or fear. Red hair wasn't dangerous, it was just visible, and visibility, in the wrong century, was a liability. So the next time someone jokes about redheads having no soul, know that it's not a new joke. It's a few thousand years old, backed by church paintings, witch manuals, and at least one vampire theory. Turns out the real curse was never the hair. It was being interesting looking in a time period with really bad information.